Brilliant. Very good. All right, everybody, let's get cracking into today's Engage session. Gary says, I have tomorrow 10 a.m. Hawaii time for the recipe. That does sound very wrong. Okay, sorry, just getting the Engage, making sure the audio doesn't come through and echo through there. All right, we're all sorted. Okay, so let's get. There we go. Now it's done. Sorry about all that. Okay, let's do this. It's been a couple of weeks, so let's do our wins over the last couple of weeks, big or small. Let's hear them in the chat window if you're following along later. Make sure you write them down. Very important for us to write them down. So I'll give you a minute. Just what were your wins over the last couple of weeks? My biggest win was going to Japan. It was fantastic. Set a timer for 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute and counting.
Was able to do 8 tickets each of the last 2 weeks. Great. Getting some consistency going, Nancy. That's fantastic. Cadence is everything. So much more focused in process of changing environment. Tremendous difference. Yes, the environment stuff is massive. Over the last 2 weeks, did 12 tickets. Fantastic, Roland. Well done. And it's, like I said, it's that cadence, which is important. Establishing a cadence of tickets is absolutely super crucial. So that is fantastic. Did recipes 3 sessions and doing free write for a funnel. Good stuff, Alan. Well done. Okay, excellent. Oh, a couple more coming through. Did strategy sessions for signups. Fantastic. Building a new funnel to get leads and test for a new project. Good stuff. Well done, Diego. All right, what about learnings? What did you learn over the last 2 weeks? Damien's got another thing, so that's great. I started a new job, improved environment, made project towards my project, lots of contact from prospects. Oh, that's very good, Damien. Well done. So what about lessons learnt? What about learn? Set a timer for 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute and counting.
And again, if you're watching this in replay, you should do this in real time. Let's see, got a few coming through here now. We've got the triage process really helps. Yes, Simon, it's the gold standard, particularly for coaching and anywhere where you're sort of doing one-on-one or group sessions. It works brilliantly. So you've worked hard at it, Simon. So well done. It's fantastic. Simon also did something which I would encourage all Academy members to do, which he did some contra webinar viewing where he asked fellow Academy members to watch his webinar to give him notes. And I know a couple of people did, and that was extremely helpful. And he's going to help them with watching their webinar and giving them notes. Great use of the Academy. So well done, Simon. That's fantastic. Nancy says, found my body is adjusted to 50-minute tickets even if I forget to set the clock. I still find my body has a 50-minute limit. Well, it's not only you, Nancy, it's the world. That's what the stats say. 50 minutes is about as long as anybody, particularly when they're starting in a discipline, can concentrate for. All right. And there before your productivity, performance, effectiveness literally drops off a cliff, which is why we keep CFTs to 50 minutes. And we always make sure we have a 10-minute break between these sessions. So it's not only you, Nancy, it's science. Time management is key, isn't it always? There's only three. Whenever we're trying to do something to change ourselves, there's only three things that we can do. It's time, how we spend our time, how we spend our energy, and the environment that we're doing the activities in. They're the only three things we can change. So time and time management is absolutely vital, which leads beautifully into the next learning, which was Diego's trust the Kanban board to keep overwhelm under control. Very nice. Love it. Deb saying studying the Tucky Moore book, Keeping It Simple, great clean roadmap. It is brilliant. That's a $1 million coach. And if you're interested, well, particularly, I love the product creation methodology in that book for any person that's creating an information product. But particularly if you're a coach, it's a brilliant book, and very detailed information. You don't need to do everything in a day. Constantly working from board overtime is key. Yes, that concept of cadence is everything. It's the whole point of the recipe, which is we've got our final ep coming later on this evening. And boy, the trick to it is consistency and of cadence, right? It's that, I keep thinking of that song, 99 bottles of beer on the wall, knock one down and you've got 98 bottles of beer on the wall. It's how it works. It really does. My email list has quite a few contacts who've never opened an email. Time's precious after work, been finding new time for CFTs. Very nice. Very good. Yeah, that will happen. The open rates, an amazing open rate for people who really want to see content is, between 30 and 50%. So, and a lot of open rates are, particularly in sort of like money-making markets and stuff like that, it's often less than 10%. It's just the way it is. My new market is not as simple as I thought. Very good. We might be able to help you in the next section, which is a nice segue. Okay, let's see if we can help some people with needs. Does anybody have something that they want to have me help? Please make sure you put the N and the colon because I don't want to miss anybody. Here we go. I think it's Damien, first one. Okay. Okay, let's get the participants up here. All right, Damien, have you got to unmute?
Hello there.
There you
How's
go.
it going?
Mate. Yeah, very good.
Welcome back to the Eastern Time. Us poor
Thank
Queenslanders,
you.
the sheets and just curtains have stopped getting
thank goodness
faded.
And the
The
cows.
cows are not confused anymore. It's wonderful.
I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled for you. But welcome, Damien. And look, this is a great question. Having found out that 30 to 40% of my readers have never opened an email, should I cut?
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise actually. I've the open rate's been somewhere between 10 to 20% most of the time, and click through rates have been anywhere from sort of 1 to I think I got as high as 5 or 6 at once. Oh no, excuse me, I got about 8% at one stage.
Yeah,
depending on. So there's been some good response, and I figured out what tends to trigger them is visuals, but. Yeah, when I went through and looked at some of them, I realised that they literally haven't even opened the original email with the Sage document. So they would have probably, it's through a Facebook ad. They've grabbed the Sage doc, I presume, and then just basically thanks. And probably it might be a bung email address from Facebook as well, I realised. So, yeah, just if they've never opened an email, I guess, is it risky to just get rid of them? Because it could improve my open rate, I guess, as well, if I reduced them down.
Well, my standard practice is I generally only, personally, I only send email to people who have opened an email from me in the last 60 days.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it's, if they haven't, you don't delete them because you can potentially use those emails for retargeting purposes.
Okay.
And lookalike audiences and
Right.
things down the track. But it's pretty common practice for, if somebody hasn't opened like I would start off at 6 months.
Okay.
Right. So if they haven't opened anything in 6 months, just don't send them anything else, because you will improve your open rates. And as you start to get bigger, it actually costs to send
exactly
email. So if they're not opening it, that's it. And the other thing that you can do periodically is do a 9-word email, which is the classic Dean Jackson one, which is so fantastic. You send a single sentence, which is, "Are you still interested in X?" X being whatever you do.
Cool.
And send that to the people who haven't opened email. So the inverted commas dead emails.
Yes.
Periodically.
Okay.
Once every 3 months or so, and that may shake a couple of people from the tree to have a conversation with.
Yeah, awesome. And then, because I guess, the big thing I'm looking at, I'm using GetResponse, and having crossed the 5,000 mark, the cost per month suddenly jumped, and I thought, ooh,
yes.
yeah, that in fact, that was what triggered the investigation. Yeah.
So there you go. That's the answer. Yeah, you don't bother just to give you an idea, just to show you how much culling over the years I've done.
Right.
Over the years, I've collected over 1 million emails, and it's over a long time now. It's 19 years, right? And I literally culled 9/10 of them.
Wow.
Right, that I don't send to them anymore. Right,
that makes sense.
Yeah, people don't.
Yeah, they're not hot. So if I was to sort of put them onto a sub list or a segment, export them out, and then just cull them off the main email list, I've got a copy of them and I can use them for retargeting in Facebook.
Exactly right. Yeah, you always keep a copy, because they're handy for lookalike audiences, because they are people who put their hand up for that particular Sage document.
Exactly.
So when you're looking at doing particularly lookalike lists with stuff like LinkedIn or Facebook, though, that data is useful.
Brilliant.
And even particularly if they've been collected from Facebook, Facebook's got a percentage of them have the Facebook email wrong. But
yes,
a lot of people just don't open their email.
Exactly.
The reality. So
yeah,
that's how I would do it.
Awesome. Thank you, man. That's great. Oh, yeah, the Facebook. I mean, I've actually been getting more ads. It's the same ad I've been running for the last 12 months now, and it's actually been getting the cost per click has dropped again in the last couple of days. And I'm getting like 30 people a day, so it's awesome. But got to manage them as well. So
now, when you say you've been using exactly the same ad, have you been changing it all? Or?
No, haven't changed it at all. I've
look,
which I know is not the right thing, but
here's something. I'm glad you brought this up, because this is what I would be doing in the background, is testing some new ads.
Okay, cool.
Right, because that's an unusual ad that works that consistently for that long on Facebook.
I know, and I feel guilty, and every time I'm like, okay, but cool. So try something.
Fine. Keep it going, right? But in the background, have an arsenal of ads.
Cool.
In an ideal world, you have a dozen ads.
Oh, okay.
Which have which are effective at building an email list.
Yeah,
right?
Cool.
So I would make sure you do that as well.
Thank you. Yeah, because I'm just on the verge of getting a new product to launch to them. So I was that was actually part of the process anyway. So it's in the hopper. So
Brilliant.
brilliant. Thank you very
Good
much.
stuff. All right, Damien, glad to and welcome all Queenslanders who are now back in the normal.
No, it's awesome. I always enjoy catching up, Ed. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Good on you, Damien. Well done.
Have a good day. Okay.
See you,
Bye.
mate. Bye-bye. Okay, so there was some interesting stuff there because, Facebook ads. I was talking to a client about this just yesterday. Facebook ads have a shelf life because people aren't going, like, it's not unusual for the same ad to work on Google for months or years because people are looking for information there, right? They're discovering. They're not you don't surf Google just while you're wasting time or you're on the bus going home from work or everything. You're on Facebook or you're on LinkedIn or you're on Instagram. So the primary purpose of them when they're on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram is that they're not here for you. They're there to catch up with their friends or see what's going on with the Instagram hashtags they're following or whatever. So if you utilize the same ad in those markets over time, the market develops ad blindness. Now, there's exceptions like Damien had there, but as a general rule, you definitely want to have a suite, of ads which work, which you can rotate through. When the frequency in the market, Facebook has a measure called frequency, right? And that represents that, like, if the frequency is, say, 1, that means every person in your potential market has seen the ad at least once, which is fine. Typically, as a rule of thumb, what we do is when an ad hits a frequency of 2, in other words, each person in the market has seen it potentially twice, then at that point, we maybe pause it and take it out of rotation for a month or so to give it a rest and put something else in its place. So that's just something that we do there. Okay, Roland's just snuck in with a need here, so let's get to Roland. All right, Roland is on the line. You there, Roland? Yeah, there we are.
Okay.
Thank you. And awesome use of the Academy over the past week, Roland. Great to see you putting out your plans and having a look at what was going on. So that was really useful.
Okay, so great.
Your question here is, I'm using Alison Prince's 30-day e-commerce plan as my base. That was one of the plans that was in those 30 plans from the Russell Brunson thing. Right. And I did her day 8, which was to build an offer. I'm stuck here wondering if my offer is too simple. It's an ebook downloaded product. Also, is this a good enough offer to present to Instagram influencers? What's the ideal proposal for Instagram influencers? Okay, so part of the Alison, and I'm not super familiar with Alison's program, although I know it was one of the ones that potentially I was faced with doing when I did the recipe challenge there with the challenge last year. So the core of that plan is to get influencers on Instagram to promote or get people to reference your product.
Right.
Okay, that's that sort of thing. So here's the thing. So you're worried that your offer is too simple, an ebook download and product. Why are you worried that the product is too simple?
Because the market that I'm going into, as I had mentioned to you on Slack, it just seems to me when I checked on Instagram and Facebook that a lot of people in there seem to be at a higher level that I'm accustomed to, because I would consider myself a newbie.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go in there and I see people talking and having discussions, I'm like, wow, it's like you're going above my head.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if my ebook, which would be geared towards which would be a recipe book in of itself, and some product to go along with it, if it would be like what are you offering me? I
Yeah.
you know, I could do better than, so I'm not sure.
Well, no. So first of all, okay. First of all, there's and this is very natural, Roland.
Mhm.
Lots and lots of people have this problem, and it's literally now a well and truly studied um, syndrome, which is expert syndrome, which is this constant fear that I'm not good enough in my particular profession. And ironically, the people who suffer from expert syndrome the most are usually the most qualified people.
Okay.
Now, so that's just an interesting finding. Now, here's the thing: in a market where you're just starting out with, but you're putting together a product, you're not offering to cook the stuff yourself, right?
No.
You're not offering yourself, or you're not saying, "Oh, here, follow my recipe." I'm really been excited about this, and when I went around and looked for stuff, I couldn't find all the stuff in one place, and then I had real struggle getting ingredients. So I thought, look, I put this together, and I thought, there are a lot of beginner bakers just like me who would be really interested in just having one place where
Right.
all stuff comes from, and that's it. You are a journey business.
Okay.
Right, which is where you're on the same, and on both businesses have their super positives,
Mhm.
but that super legit, that's really not an issue, and
Okay.
if you're solving the problem, for the focus has to be solving the problem, and
Mhm.
use the story all the time of there's a woman who is suffering, incredible chronic back pain, has for 10 years, and tried everything, still chronic back pain. And she notices that there's a new chiropractor in town, and she goes to this chiropractor, and bim, bam, bang, her chronic back pain is solved. She's pain free for 10 years, and she's raving about it. And she goes to the coffee next day, and she's, "Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I'm pain free. This miracle worker just has helped me and fixed me. It's been amazing." And the person she's having coffee with said, "Oh, you went to Jane. Oh, that you must have been almost Jane's very first patient. She's a friend of mine, and she just literally graduated last week." Right now, if I'd had chronic back pain, and if I had focused on, I just wanted my problem solved. I didn't care about the experience. If my chronic back pain is solved after 10 years, I don't care whether I'm the first patient or the 10,000th patient. I just got my problem solved. All right. And that is what it's all about. Right. So if you are solving, if you are making the experience of people in that market better, doesn't matter what your personal experience level is. As the only time it matters is if you try to make out that you're far more experienced than you actually are. That will bite you in the butt big time. Right. And depending on what country you're in, potentially illegal. All right. So you just, there's no need. Say, "Look, I'm a fellow beginner just like you." And one of the things I found was when I was like, I didn't know which recipes to trust, and I wasn't sure, and then I had to go and get ingredients, and sometimes ingredients were a bit hard to get where I am. And, I've been, in my, business of selling stuff to people, which is your background, right? I thought, I found this, supplier of ingredients and these recipes which really work well with these specific ingredients. And I thought, I've been using it, and I thought it'd be cool, for a lot of beginners, it'd be useful for you too. And that's the thing. All right.
Okay.
So does that make, so that's the first part of the question. Does that make, so an ebook and a product is absolutely fine. All right.
Okay.
Okay. What's the ideal proposal for Instagram influencers? Money.
Okay. So
right?
would it be well, in that, would it be, for example, if through their influence 50 people purchase my product, well, then I would give you X amount. So whether that be,
if it's
5
set
cents.
up as a joint venture, then that's exactly how you would do it. So you would,
Okay.
you would split the money with them. A lot of down the track, I suspect if this works, it's going to be far cheaper for you to just pay them,
Right.
and keep all the profits yourself. But
Okay.
you don't know how that's going to work yet, right? You don't have enough metrics to
Right.
understand how that's going to work. So if you can get people to do affiliate, but the thing that I like, you've got a really cool angle here, which is bread making challenge.
hmm
Right. So you actually send them the ingredients, send them the book, and then they follow along and create some bread. Right. And they film that. That's a really cool piece of content for them.
Okay. So do you think I would need to add anything more, a video or anything, or just the book and the
Oh
ingredients
no,
are
like
fine?
I would I would absolutely be reaching out. If you just send your stuff,
Mhm.
it's likely to get thrown on the thrown on the shelf with all the other stuff. Like, it's amazing. I wouldn't consider myself an influencer at all, but I'm actually now starting to get Huawei sent me their brand new phone yesterday, for example.
Okay.
Because they hope that I'll talk about it and say how cool it is, which actually it's bloody good. But the but if it's not that effective. That's why I would probably pay a couple of shout outs personally first.
Okay.
So I would pay people to do
Okay.
it because they're looking for things to do on their
Okay.
channel, right? They're looking
Right.
for things to do. And if you can give them a content idea with money, right, then you'll cut through. And then here's the thing, once a couple of people see it, and they say, like, that once one person does a challenge and it's a fun thing to do, then lots of other people will be interested in doing the challenge. And then you can show, hey, we did this. We worked with, Jane Smith and her tribe, and we did this bread challenge. We'd like to, pay you a couple of $100 and send you all the product and stuff so you can do your own bread challenge.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not doing a challenge, but it's like straight a straight product. So
no, it's a straight. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I get
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Right. But here's the thing, right?
hmm
Right. If I'm just trying to figure out how to make the best. Like, I'm thinking about the influencers. I'm not
Right.
thinking about you. Right. As you
Right.
should. Right. What are their problems? What are
Mhm.
and their biggest problem is they have to do content 24/7. Like, it was
Okay.
unbelievable. Like, a couple of days ago, I was at the the world famous Shibuya crossing, which
Mhm.
is that, everybody, whenever you see a photo of Tokyo, you see this crazy crossing with literally thousands of people, right, crossing all at the same time. Right. It's this sea of people. Everybody's seen the image. If you see the image, you've seen it. Well, I was there, and I am not exaggerating. There were at least 10 influencers doing like photos and photo shoots and running out into the middle of the room trying to get amazing shots, and it was unbelievable.
Okay.
Right, you can just see them now. Right, you just see them doing their thing. All right, and they're working hard for the money, so they're in a constant grind, and
Okay.
they need content. So
Okay.
so if you just say to them, here's my stuff, and don't give them any ideas for content,
Okay.
you
Okay.
look, like I said, if you pay them, they will
Mhm.
mention your product, no problem. Right. But if you want to stand out, then put yourself in their shoes. What are their issues, and how can you help them? And you can help them with money, but if you give them some content ideas, so an Instagrammer would be able to, take a photo of the before and after. Here's me, that's a whole days of content, them creating their bread, and they're just desperate for and if they can be paid. I mean, that's their business model. They get paid to create content.
Right. Okay.
All right. Even, even my daughter has been approached by clothing companies that will send you the clothes as long as you wear them on your Instagram. So it's happening all the time. So that's the trick.
Okay.
And as I think I mentioned to you in the Slack channel as well, YouTubers, right? Don't
You did.
forget YouTubers, right? Because they, that is a really good for like stuff like bread making and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Awesome opportunity.
Okay.
All right. Does that help?
Yes, actually it does. It's got some ideas percolating now.
Brilliant. All right, Roland, look forward to and keep using the Slack channel to keep us informed so
Will do.
We can help out. So good luck with that.
All right.
See you, sorry, Roland. I accidentally cut you off there. Thank you very much, Roland. Okay, that's it for today's Engage session. We've helped all the needs people. So thank you very much for participating today. And again, don't forget as part of your Academy membership, you have the extraordinary Slack channel that we have, and it's really, really powerful. Next week, by the way, we will be running a copy club, so keep an eye out if you want to participate in the copy club. We'll be doing that because I have a piece of copy that I have to present. Or actually, I've actually taken on a copy apprentice, and Michael will actually be presenting a piece of copy that he's doing for me. So that'll be interesting. So that'll be a lot of fun for everybody. So I'll be doing that. Don't forget the final recipe will be later on today. And that means that the recipe site will be out next week. So for everybody who signed up for the Recipe and Academy members, there'll be a permanent site with all of the content there, so that you'll have access to all of that. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. Great to talk to you. Great to be back in town, and we'll speak literally soon for some of you in a few hours' time. All right, bye for now.